Greetings and salutations, travelers of the internet. Welcome to the Lit Roundtable. I'm Anna.
And I'm Joseph, and we'll be your wise or not so wise mentors for today's audio adventure into all things storytelling.
Season 5!
It's 2025, Season 5.
I like that symmetry. Wasn't expecting it. Happy about it.
It also happened for 2024.
Oh, it did.
And 2023.
Did we notice?
And 2022.
Did we notice?
Probably not.
Something about fives, though.
Yeah.
You're right, though.
It's a good number.
I didn't. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's all good.
It's all good.
So today, just what we're talking about today is going to be, we were posed a question over Christmas when Hope and I were up there in Nebraska. We were posed this question by Blake, who is...
We're officially engaged.
Your fiance.
My fiance. We don't really like that word. I don't know. The word sounds funny.
It does. No, it's weird.
It's a weird word.
Hope and I also experienced that. Yeah. Every opportunity Hope and I had to say engaged over like fiance, we took. Yes. Because it is a weird word.
Yeah. It just feels pretentious.
Yeah.
And then I suggested that we call each other betrothed. Kind of as a joke, and Blake was like, that's better.
It honestly is.
So, anyway, we're engaged. It's very new as of recording this.
So, we were posed a question by Blake over Christmas break, and that was, what D&D classes do you think the characters from War of the Rohirrim would be?
Right.
Which I instantly started, like... going down the rabbit trail, and he was like, this sounds like a podcast episode. We're like, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
So
here we are.
We'll table it, and here we are.
Yeah. So okay, obviously we watched the War of the Rohirrim.
Oh, I was gonna say, before we dive into that,
okay,
that's what we're talking about, but before, I want to talk about the read along. And
yes, housekeeping.
Like, just plug that real quick. Yeah, housekeeping stuff.
Housekeeping. We're on our, I don't even know what number read along. I should know. 13, I think?
Oh, like overall? I have no idea.
Yeah. I think it's I can look this up because I have it documented. Hold on.
Nice.
It is our 13th read along of The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. It's very good. We're still early on. There's plenty of time to catch up.
For sure. And it's like, it's very compelling. You will not struggle to catch up, because I have had to struggle to like stop myself from reading more.
Agreed.
Like, I have wanted to read more, and I have had to stop myself.
Yeah. The flow of it is very smooth. And like, it's very hard to stop. It's very good. So
you will have no problem catching up, dear listener. So join us in reading The Poppy War. But, there's that. This is season 5. This is going to be the February episode. We're still doing the 1 episode a month because I'm still in school, and now you are engaged. And
that's true. I'm officially wedding planning now.
There's a lot of stuff happening. So we're going to do the 1 episode a month like this, but we're still going to have the every other week of the read-alongs. So basically what the cadence was last year in 2024 is going to be the same as this year. So, yeah.
Yeah, maybe 2026 we'll get to amp it back up again.
We will see. We'll see what my school looks like if I manage to wrap it up by the end of the year.
Right. Theoretically, that's what should happen. But also, theoretically, I'll be married this year, but I suppose if there are absolutely no venue options.
Right.
So, anyway.
We'll see. It's all up in the air.
Yes.
But yeah, so today we're talking about the characters from War of the Rohirrim and what D&D classes they would be. So anyway, what were you saying at the beginning?
Yeah, I was just going to say that this was born out of us obviously seeing the movie, which we would normally do a unpacking episode. But I think that will just kind of be like sprinkled in as we work through this.
Did we not already do that? I thought we already kind of did an unpacking episode.
We certainly did not. Because it came out in December, and we had already done the podcast episode for December.
Shoot. Oh, we did an unpacking for Arcane Season 2. That's what we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that will be part of this conversation.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that weekend, after we went and saw it, Blake and I, Blake promptly went home and pulled up a new game for Baldur's Gate and started designing Helm Hammerhand as a character for Baldur's Gate, which is why then he asked how they would class.
Do you remember what he chose when he was making the character?
I think it's been a while since we talked about it now, because that was back in early January, late December. Did he class him as a barbarian? Or was that my idea that he should be a barbarian?
Well, regardless, that's what I chose.
Okay. Well, okay. So if I'm not actively playing D&D, and I'm also super behind on Critical Role. So could you just give us a brief rundown of some of the potential classes?
I mean, okay, so the world of Lord of the Rings is a little more narrow in terms of like the possibilities. We're not going to have any wizards or warlocks or clerics or, paladins. There's not going to be a lot of like magic people. So keep that in mind. So it's pretty much narrowed down to like fighters, and one that I have down as a bard fighter multi-class for obvious reasons when we get there to him. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fighters and barbarians, specifically with different like subclasses.
Okay.
Yeah. So I do want to start with the big boy.
Helm.
The man, the myth, the legend, Helm Hammerhand. So him and Hera, I actually went on and like did full character sheets. I didn't do that for the last three that I want to talk about, but I wanted to do it for those two for sure. So for Helm, I was like, he deserves it. I'm going to just make him max level 20.
His first altercation with another character, he one punches him.
Yeah, for real. One Punch Man. So Helm Hammerhand, I chose for the race. Also, of course, the race for all these is going to be human.
Right.
It's a movie about Rohan. There's no elves.
Right.
But I did choose the variant human, which means he gets an extra feat. I thought that was fitting. So he is a barbarian, level 20, and I chose the Berserker Barbarian because he goes into frenzy and just wrecks things. So that's the class that I went with in terms of, and the subclass. So in terms of other things, like what feats I chose, and for the background, I gave him the knight background because that one gives you like retainers that follow you around and a mount and like all this stuff. You're like, right. You're like elevated kind of, you're like, you're a big deal. So I gave him that background for some of those perks. I also gave him the mounted combatant feat, which gives him advantage on melee attack rolls against any unmounted creature that's smaller than his mount if he's mounted.
He's not mounted that often, but he is a horse lord, so he should be. He just happens to be
But he's the king of Rohan.
Right. He just happens to be in scenarios where that doesn't happen very often for his particular character. Yeah.
Realistically, all the characters on this list, except for like Wolf, the bad guy, get the mounted combatant feat, like just because they're Rohan.
Yeah, but he's mounted more than the rest of them.
Who, Wolf, the bad guy?
Isn't he?
I don't remember him fighting on horseback, really.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay.
Regardless, his was the weirdest one that I'm still kind of scratching my head over. Anyway, I also gave him the tough feat, which increases his maximum HP by 40. And I'll get to what his like number stats are and what his HP is because it's pretty crazy. I also gave him the inspiring leader feat. He can give 10 minutes inspiring his companions up to 6 allies, and they each get 22 temporary hit points from his inspiring speech. Kind of a Theoden move, a sword day, a red day. And I gave him the Tavern Brawler feat, which is one that specifically augments your unarmed attacks. So
fantastic.
because of the punching. and just punching someone out in one punch. So he adds...
Well, and not only that, but he ends up like taking on an entire army with just his fists. In the middle of the night.
So this one makes it so that he's proficient with improvised weapons, and his unarmed strike uses a D4 for damage, and he like adds his proficiency modifier to the damage as well. So he can grapple after he hits with an unarmed attack as a bonus action. So yeah, he's really good at hand to hand, like unarmed. It's like a plus 13 for him to hit. For his weapons, I gave him a warhammer, and some throwaway stuff, just because, like some javelins, hand axes, just because he's on a horse, throwing stuff.
Yeah.
But so he's also, some other perks of the barbarian thing. He has intimidating presence. He can go into a rage, which halves all the damage he takes, and does some other cool stuff. He can do a retaliation reaction. So when you take damage from a creature within 5 feet of you, you can use your reaction to make a melee weapon attack against the creature. So if he gets hit, he can just immediately retaliate and hit back.
Yeah.
He gets 2 attacks on his turn. If he rages and he frenzies, he gets a 3rd attack as a bonus action on his turn. So he's just a complete beast with 305 hit points. Wow. And his armor class is 19. He's a total beast.
Yeah. Pretty accurate to the show.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun to make. I thought about like dipping into a couple levels of fighter just to give him action surge as well, but I didn't want to do too much multi-classing stuff because that was just going to get way too complicated if I did that with everyone with multi-classing. I was like, no, there's only one character I did that with, kind of, but I wanted to try to avoid it.
Yeah. So can we talk about his character in the movie a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while now since we've watched it, obviously, and I did kind of want to watch it again before we did this episode, but I didn't have. I ended up getting engaged this weekend, so it didn't happen. Yeah. But I can tell. Do you know a lot about how the legend of Helmhammer goes down canonically?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah.
Okay. Was the movie more or less accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like the whole everything with like the 2 sons getting, spoilers obviously for the movie.
Yeah.
His 2 sons getting killed. There was only like minor differences with that.
Okay.
They both just died one of them died in battle, like defending Helm's Deep. It wasn't like he was taken captive and then like executed.
Mm-hmm.
He died fighting. So they kind of did him a little dirty in the movie, just like executing him. But it was more dramatic that way, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, everything with Helm, like just going out and just beating people in the middle of the night while they're at Helm's Deep and just like terrorizing the Dunlendings, that's accurate.
Okay.
Them finding him just like frozen solid, standing up in the morning is also accurate.
See, I thought those were details that had been embellished for the movie, but that's wild.
That is all actual lore stuff, and him punching out the guy in one punch and killing him, and then that kind of sparking the feud. That's accurate in the lore. This is all in the appendices of Return of the King. If anybody wants to check it out. But yeah, they did a good job sticking to the source material and expanding more on like the Hera character, because she gets like one mention, but they obviously expand on her a little bit more. Which I know some people are going to be like, it's the movie's woke. Whatever. Shut up.
That's so
like
annoying.
go out of their way. They go out of their way to make Eowyn this like cool female character, and like, in its time, that was like a very like forward-thinking, progressive move, having this woman character kill one of the biggest, baddest,
you mean
at least
for
health
Tolkien?
kill.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have a whole movie about Helm Hammerhand, and like have it just be a boy show and have no cool female characters. Like, that seems lame to me. So I like that they decided to like focus in more on Hera's character personally.
Well, and I also love that. And I just want to say that Eowyn does not just decide that she's going to be a shield maiden because there's no precedent for that.
Right.
She literally says that the women of Rohan have learned how to defend themselves for a long time.
Yeah.
So this is not a new concept.
No.
So.
But yeah, I'm cool with the changes they made. I liked Hera as a character. Which that was the other character that I did a full actual character sheet for. If you were done talking about Helm.
He just was I was trying to like get an assessment of him as a father, and he is obviously cares a lot about his children, which is why the deaths of his sons is so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because they all have like that family has a pretty solid relationship.
Yeah, they're all very close, for sure.
I didn't love that they just like blindsided Hera with a potential engagement without talking to her first. And as the show went on, that seemed less likely. But he also wasn't like for it.
Right.
The engagement with Wolf. So
yeah. I mean, that's from the source material, that was that whole engagement thing. But I mean, it just kind of goes to show that even, like,
I just mean like, why didn't they say something to her like, hey, by the way, we're gonna start working on this. This is like a thing we gotta start.
Right.
I
mean, it goes to show you that even though like the Rohirrim are seen as like a more, like they're a little more, they don't treat their women the way that other cultures do, and they like give them a little more respect and like a little more credit where it's due in terms of like fighting and everything.
Oh, it's for sure still backwards.
But they still have a lot of issues with like, treating your daughter like property for political advantage.
Right.
That old chestnut. But yeah, Helm Hammerhand as a character though.
I wouldn't want to meet him in a fight. I wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley.
No way. So for Hera, I had her. I couldn't remember. Okay, embarrassing confession. I couldn't remember the name of her character when I was doing this, and I wrote her name down as not Eowyn.
Hilarious.
So for not Eowyn, she's not level 20. Obviously, I put her down as a respectable level 11.
I think that's fair.
She is a fighter. She's not a barbarian. She doesn't fly off into a rage like Papa.
No, she's more calculating.
Yeah,
because she doesn't have the strength. Okay, that's the thing about Helm is that like he strategizes, but he does fly off the handle. But the advantage is that he has the strength to take whatever comes with that. Which
reminds me, I forgot to read off the stats for Helm for like his ability modifiers. His strength score is at a 24, which 20 is supposed to be the cap, but when you max out as barbarian, you can get a +4 in strength and go up to 24. So his strength is at 24 with a +7. His constitution is at a 22. His dexterity is at a 16. I put his intelligence, his charisma is a 14. His intelligence is a 12. His wisdom is a 10. So the wisdom is like the lowest one, and it's just like baseline. He gets no advantage on like wisdom things. Because, I don't know.
The fact he one-punched a guy on accident is pretty dumb. Like, he did not mean to do that, but he did.
Right. He's not known for his wisdom. He's known for his just
brute force.
His name is Hammerhand.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's got like a crazy like +13 on his strength. He's a beast. So anyway, back to not Eowyn, also known as Hera. So where'd you go? There you are. So she's a fighter for the class, and for the subclass, I chose Cavalier, which is again another like mounted subclass because she's supposed to be like the best rider, like one of the fastest riders in the royal family. For her feats and all of her stuff, I did. Well, for proficiencies, I did like animal handling and perception. Less combat.
Does that include speaks with animals? Because
No,
I know
but,
that the eagles can technically talk. They didn't talk in this movie though, but she talked to them.
I mean, they can understand her just because they can understand common,
Right?
But because they're fancy eagles, they're not regular eagles.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. Maybe she can find a ring or something of speak with animals. So for her fighting style, I chose a little more of like the shield maiden aesthetic. I went with the protection fighting style. So she's really good at like, so while she's wielding a shield and a creature she can see attacks a target other than her within 5 feet, so like someone she's next to, she can use her reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll.
Okay.
So she's good at like protecting other people with her shield, because she uses the shield a lot.
She does.
She does get to action surge as a fighter, so she can take an extra attack action. With the Cavalier thing, when she chooses that archetype, I thought when I tapped on that it would like tell me what it did, and it didn't. Sorry. It'll tell me later. Oh yes, born to the saddle. She has advantage on saving throws made to avoid falling off her mount.
Nice.
If she does fall off and it's less than 10 feet, she can land on her feet and not be incapacitated.
Awesome.
Unwavering mark. When hit with a melee weapon attack, she can mark the creature until the end of her next turn. The marked creature has disadvantage on any attack roll that doesn't target her, so she can kind of like attract attacks to her.
Okay.
Again, with like the protector thing.
Kind of like
then she gets
the Watcher in the Water scenario that happened in the movie.
Yeah. And then she can make a special melee attack against a marked creature on her next turn as a bonus action with advantage with a +5 extra damage.
Whoa.
So
Okay.
she gets a cool buff there. The extra attack. At level 11, she gets 2 extra attacks. So she can attack 3 times, action surge, attack 3 more times. So she's like fast. She's faster for sure. Indomitable, all kinds of cool stuff. Hold the line. Creatures provoke an opportunity attack against her when they move 5 feet or more while within her reach. And if she hits them, it makes it so that they can't move anymore. So she can like keep people from running away from her.
Okay.
Anyway, for the feats, she also gets mounted combatant, Rohan.
Sure.
And I gave her Shield Master because she does all kinds of stuff with the shield, and that lets her do a shield bash as a bonus action, like a shove with the shield, after using the attack action to knock people prone. And I also decided to just give her the lucky feat because, which just gives you 3 luck points, and basically you get to reroll a d20 3 times per long rest with those luck points. Whatever you roll for like an attack roll or an ability check or a saving throw, you can re-roll it if you want to try to succeed. So I just thought that was fitting because, she's the main character of the movie, and she's like, it's not necessarily plot armor, but it's like, she's the main character. Of course, she's
right.
The scales will tip in her way a little bit in certain situations. And she also has a way of like worming her way out of really tricky situations where she is like being overpowered.
Yes.
And like certainly could have died, but then just doesn't. Like she manages to. Luck is kind to her, for sure. So we've already kind of talked about Hare as a character already, but was there anything else you wanted to add?
I was not expecting the ability for her to speak, or like that she would be so attracted to the eagles. Like I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
But I thought that was cool. The The guy that ends up becoming the king at the end.
Yeah.
Her cousin. Is it her cousin?
Yes. Yeah.
There was some like tension between those two, and I thought that they were going to build to, in the end, she was going to marry him and they were going to rule Rohan together. And I was expecting that to be what happened. And I was very pleased that they did not do that to her. And they let her remain, maintain her autonomy. Because she did not want to get married. So they did not force her to do that. And I was very glad for that.
She just got to go off and be an adventurer and keep doing fun stuff.
Yeah.
Looking for rings. Wasn't that a thing that they talked about? Or like they were going to go talk to Saruman about why the orcs were looking for rings.
Right.
Right. Because this is pre-bad guy Saruman.
Right.
So, yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I feel like Game of Thrones has kind of conditioned us to expect weird, cousins marrying each other and so like my mind also went there and I like expected it to happen and then it didn't. And I was like, oh, right, this isn't Game of Thrones. Right. This is this is different.
So that was nice. It was like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
And also like Game of Thrones also has conditioned us, I think, to expect that the women are just going to be disregarded as often as possible. Yeah. So it was nice that didn't happen in the end. Also, I'm assuming you did not make a character sheet for her or like stats for her handmaiden lady.
No, I only did her. I did Helm. I did like Helm's family. So Helm, Hera, and I have like what classes I think they would be for her two brothers, and then I did Wolf, the villain guy. I didn't, but her handmaiden lady would also have like a very similar character sheet. I just want, but maybe like higher level
for sure, higher level because she's been doing it. But I just adored her.
Oh, she was great.
Oh my gosh, what?
If you need a problem solved, you go to her
for sure.
Like
she knows what's up.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed her character a lot.
I love how they were like, she was captured at one point, Hera was, and they were like, how do we get her back? And she's like, I have a plan. And she literally just like breaks into the room and starts beating the crap out of people.
Right. Yeah. Her plan was, I am going to be the battle hammer here. Just let me work.
And then her cousin was just shooting him with arrows from top of the wall on Orthanc. But like, she was like, well, I will be the point man here. I will be the frontline fighter. Yeah, she was cool.
Yeah.
So next I have the oldest of Helm's kids, Haleth, who was the oldest brother. He was the very like he was the most like martially minded. Like you could tell that he was a fighter for sure.
And he had also been really, like conditioned and trained to like follow Helm's footsteps. Yeah.
Yeah, he was being groomed to take over the throne because, he was the eldest son. So,
and I think he would have done a great job.
Yes.
And then he was brutally murdered in battle. I literally gasped.
Yeah, that was wild. He got Boromir'd.
He did.
He got shot with an arrow. Oh, that was so sad.
And it was so... Like, it shouldn't have been out of the blue because they're literally in the middle of a battle, but... I just was not expecting it.
Yeah. So for Haleth, I chose a fighter for him also. For the subclass though, I chose champion.
Yeah.
So the champion subclass is maybe the simplest fighter subclass. It just makes it so that you get a critical hit on not only 20 but also a 19. So he's going to, in theory, be getting critical hits way more often. He just hits harder, basically. And that's he hit hard.
He did.
Me have sword, me hit hard. Me ride horse and hit hard. That's kind of like
his character wasn't as fleshed out as some of the other characters because he didn't last as long.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's a very accurate description of him.
Yeah. I would also give him the mounted fighter feat. He would maybe make him like a level 14, 15, highly competent, but not like Helm's level, obviously. He like level 20 is like mythological level, like folktale. But he's definitely up there. I mean, he did kill a Mumakil.
He did.
So no, he's no joke for sure.
No. Were you expecting Mumakil to show up? Because I was not. I was also not
I was
expecting the
because
Watcher in the
of-
Water.
I didn't expect that, but the Mumakil were in the trailer briefly, so like I knew that was happening.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Had to set up the grudge match in Return of the King,
Right.
when it's like
sure.
an entire army of them versus all of the Rohirrim.
Right.
So yeah, I could see him as like a level 15, definitely the mounted combatant feat. Background is probably just going to be the soldier background. Maybe for other feats, maybe he could also take the tough feat, give him some extra HP because he seemed pretty tanky and stocky. Yeah. Maybe the savage attacker feat so he can reroll ones on his damage dice.
I think that would be appropriate.
I feel like he's just the heavy hitter. Like he's going to crank out damage.
Right.
For the weapon, I think he just used... Did he use an axe or was it a sword?
I don't remember.
I don't either. It might have been an axe.
I thought it was a sword, but you might be right.
I'm having a hard time. Either way, it's either going to be like a great sword or like a battle axe, whichever, for his weapon. Yeah, so that's what I would do for Haleth, the fighter champion.
Yeah. What about the middle son?
Or did I get them mixed up? That was Haleth, right? Or was that Hama? Was Hama the... Haleth is the soldier one. Hama is the harper. Okay.
Right.
I was right. Hama the harper. This is the multi-class one where I would do a bard fighter.
He's got
of
his
course,
little,
because
his little lute. His little lute.
I could harp.
It's his little harp.
Different.
Thank you. Yeah. A lute has yeah, you're right. It's a harp.
A lute is more guitar-esque.
Right.
But he has his harp, and he, I could see him definitely, like, giving his brother bardic inspiration.
Oh, for sure. Or anyone.
And then just kind of hanging back. He's not, like, he's the least martially minded of all of Helm's kids, I feel like.
Yeah.
He's just a soft boy.
Yes.
He rides the old tired horse into battle.
That was so sad.
Because he likes the old girl.
Yeah.
But I would still I feel like the mounted combatant is just, a given feat for any Rohan
For sure.
royalty.
And it's not that
he's going to get that.
He doesn't, like, not do anything. He does fight.
Right.
He's just not as, like, in the middle of all the
And
action.
for his fighting...
Haleth.
For his fighting subclass, I would probably just do... I would probably just give him... I might just give him Cavalier as well. Or maybe... Because I don't see him getting, like, champion, but his fighting style would definitely be, like, ranged using bow and arrow, because that's the only weapon we really see him with.
Right.
So he would be the bow and arrow guy on his horse, but also plucking away at that harp for that bardic inspiration, helping his people out. So that's what I would do for him.
He was so sweet. And his, like, relationship with Hera was adorable.
I loved Hama a lot. I was really sad. I knew it was coming. I was like, both these guys they're toast.
Yeah.
I know just because of the story, but like, oh, they're gonna make it hurt.
And they did.
I liked the brothers a lot.
Me too.
So much potential just snuffed out. So, which, speaking of snuffing out, who was the one that did the snuffing? It was Wolf, the bad guy. For him,
I hate him. And I'm so annoyed that he looks so much like he was coded to look like Aragorn.
yeah,
But he
I
was
mean,
not
yeah,
like Aragorn. He was not
no,
very
he
kingly. He was despicable.
was terrible. I would do. So I was trying to rack my brain on whether I would do fighter or some kind of weird rogue thing, because the way he fights is like kind of. I mean, I guess it would just be fighter, but he uses like tricks,
Yeah.
like so maybe I would do like a battle master fighter, because that one gives you a bunch of different like fighting moves, like a trip attack, or a
Yeah, but I don't think I would describe him as a battle master. He makes a lot of
well,
errors.
more just for the abilities and less so for like that title.
Okay.
More because it also gives you this like commanding presence ability, which he would use on like the Dunlendings that are following him, to like force them to keep the siege going when they clearly don't want to anymore. But I'm not like married to the battle master thing. I feel like that was the only thing I could think of that really fit, kind of. He's
Yeah.
an odd
He's a lot
character,
like
though.
Kylo Ren.
I mean, Kylo Ren, I feel like I would maybe do a barbarian, because he
Yeah, I mean
goes nuts.
he has more, yeah, and he has more power behind him, I think. But just
Yeah.
the like, there were several moments throughout the film that I was like, oh my gosh, it's like Kylo Ren just yelling more fire.
Yeah.
Like this kid just doesn't know. He's just running off of sheer adrenaline and hatred.
Yeah. For him, I'd probably do like level 12, 13
Yeah.
ish. Like only a little higher than Hera, but not by much. Enough to make Hera's victory like
Yeah.
cool,
For sure. Yeah, I mean
because I feel like
he's nothing without all the people he somehow tricked into
right.
following him.
Right.
So,
but he seems like the type that would do a sneak attack, like a rogue.
for sure.
So maybe he'd be some kind of weird, like, rogue fighter multi-class, even though I'm trying to avoid multi-classing with this. But he's just such an odd...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a weird one. But yeah, that's what I got for him.
I like it.
Let me know what you guys think, if you agree. Or what you would do if you've seen the movie, how you would classify Wolf.
And if you haven't seen the movie, it's streaming now. I don't remember where, but you should watch it. It's very good. It should have gotten more time. Like, it should have gotten more... I don't know if they just didn't promote it
They didn't
very
publicize
well,
it enough, yeah.
or what, because it was very good.
Yeah. But yeah, those are all the characters I did.
Yeah.
Of course, there's Hera's handmaiden lady, and there's the little page boy. But like,
You mean you also could have done the Dominic and Billy goblins.
the goblins. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
They're both like level 2.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. One's a rogue, one's a fighter. Yeah. Silly. All right. So yeah, let us know how you would make character sheets for those characters. What feats you would give them, if there are any that I missed or didn't think of. Anything like that. I'm curious. How would you do it?
Yeah.
So.
Tell us.
Yeah, but I guess the usual stuff that we normally talk about. What have you been up to? What have you been watching, reading, playing?
Yeah. Well, here we go. Let me pull up my list. Okay. For watching, going back a little bit, I don't remember if I talked about Klaus. Have you seen Klaus? It's a Christmas movie. It's an
I have
animated
not.
Christmas movie.
I don't remember you talking about it.
Okay. It's a few years old. It's on Netflix. It's incredible.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Cool.
I was not expecting it to make me as emotional as it did. It was just very, very good. So,
Nice.
highly recommend when it's Christmas time again that you watch Klaus with a K. And then Blake and I watched Lady Bird. We were looking for a movie to watch one night, and we kind of wanted.
I've seen that.
A24. You have? It was very good.
Hope was watching it. I didn't see the beginning. I walked in like halfway through. But yeah, I saw, Timothy Chalamet and
Yeah.
Good times.
And Saoirse. We've
The
decided.
dad from that movie.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
it'll get you for sure. It's coming of age. Very artfully done. We've decided that we really like A24 movies, so we're trying to watch some more of them. Also appreciate how they responded to the SAG-AFTRA strikes and the writer strikes, because they were pretty quick to be like, yeah, we can do all that.
Nice.
And got back to work, So, also been watching Sister Wives, you guys.
The guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Funny.
War of the Rohirrim, obviously.
Yeah.
We watched a couple episodes of Gravity Falls on New Year's Eve with
Love
Blake's
that for
daughter.
you. I love that show.
I really need to watch some more of it. I just finished watching the new Star Wars show, Skeleton Crew. Have you watched that?
I forgot that for my list, but yes, I have.
I literally finished it today.
Nice.
It was very good.
Nice. Maybe we should talk about that on the podcast.
I think we should. I really think we should. Because it was
for
good.
like an episode.
Yeah. It was just so different. Anyway, more on that later. I watched the newest season of Queer Eye on Netflix.
Me too. You're naming all these things that I totally forgot about for my list.
Funny. I really liked the new designer guy, Jeremy.
Me too.
I thought he did a really nice job, and I think not that Bobby didn't do a good job listening to the heroes, but I really thought that Jeremy embodied what they needed in their spaces.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure.
Blake and I watched The Phantom Menace because I needed some rebellion in my storytelling.
Yeah.
Some sticking it to the man.
Star Wars is great for that.
Star Wars is great for that. I've apparently not watched The Phantom Menace on Disney Plus, or haven't in a while, but there were some alterations that I wasn't expecting, like extra scenes that I don't think added anything. I just remember as we were watching, I'd be like, that wasn't in there before. And you'd think to yourself,
Classic
Anna,
Star Wars.
how could you possibly know if it was like, if you haven't watched it in forever? And because we watched it all the time as kids. So I know that movie, and I know when there's extra shots, and there were extra shots in there. Now, when we get to Revenge of the Sith, I probably won't be able to tell as easily.
That is just such a classic Star Wars thing.
Oh, for sure.
Like, you go to watch a newer version of it, and you're like, wait, what do you mean Han didn't shoot? That kind of thing.
Right.
Like,
but it was like
they're
weird
so
stuff,
bad
like
about...
longer shots on like mechanical stuff, or like,
yeah,
it's just weird stuff. But yeah, we went and saw Mufasa in theaters. Better than we were expecting. We honestly didn't have high expectations, and I will just say that I wish it had just been animated and not the CGI real looking lions. Like, I just want an animated Lion King movie.
That's fair.
The framing around it, did you guys go see it?
No, we have not.
It's a lot like Lion King 1.5, where Timon and Pumbaa are telling their side of the story. So, like, they're an integral part of the framework of the story, which could have done with less of.
Right.
In my opinion. And I like Timon and Pumbaa, so for me to say there was too much, that's really saying something. We watched Mary Poppins right before we got engaged, which Blake had never seen. And we watched Attack of the Clones after we got engaged, after we got Blake's daughter in bed. So
I love that.
which is an odd choice, but we didn't know what to do with ourselves and what to watch. And Blake just put on Attack of the Clones because we had watched Phantom Menace the weekend before. So that was fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
For reading, obviously The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I've been working on the Witch Hat Atelier. Did I say it right?
You did.
Yay. Series. I think I'm on number 7 right now.
Nice.
Yeah, it's now that I don't have to do homework over my lunch breaks, I get to read manga, which I love. Some nonfiction. I read Dinner for Vampires by Bethany Joy Lenz, which is an autobiography about one of the actresses on One Tree Hill that was in a cult.
Whoa. Okay.
So it was intense.
Fascinating.
It was honestly a little triggering, but very good.
Yeah.
Because the language they would use to manipulate was so familiar, because it's a cult in the guise of a Christian group.
Yeah.
Real bizarre.
Yeah.
But she got out,
Creepy.
so
Good. Good. Good for her.
spoiler alert, I guess. I feel like that's something you want to know.
It's fine.
They're writing a book on the other side of something horrible like that.
Yeah.
And that led me to read Rural Diaries by Hilarie Burton Morgan, who was another actress on One Tree Hill. So that was less, there were no cults. It's basically, because she's married to the Winchester's dad from Supernatural.
Oh.
What's his
name?
Morgan. Jeffrey Morgan. I was like, she said his name all the time in the book. Why can't I think of his name? Jeffrey Morgan. And they have a farm up in, I think it's upstate New York. And so it's pretty cool. It was interesting to see their story. And then today I just started reading Fat Chance Charlie Vega by Crystal Maldonado, is how I would guess you would say that last name. And that's a YA book that was recommended many times throughout my graduate program by like classmates when we'd have to make book recommendations. And so I've had it on my list, and I got it for half a credit on Audible. So anyway,
Nice.
just starting that one. So I'm sure it's fine, but I haven't gotten very far yet. For playing, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, because I'm done with grad school. And I can finally let myself get swept up in a video game again. That said, I haven't played very much, but
Fair.
I will.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You're gonna cry. Okay.
I know, I'm
Anyway.
so excited. I also got a couple board games for Christmas. So we played Happy Little Dinosaurs, which was very fun. And we played Extremely Loud Librarians, which was also incredibly fun. Dominion. We played a new expansion that you got for Christmas,
Called Dark Ages.
which was fantastic. And of course, Blake and I and his daughter play Mario Party Jamboree.
Yep.
So
There you go.
it's been a good time, for sure.
Nice. Love it. Nice. So for mine, skipping over the things that are repeats, because a lot of the things that you watched, I also watched, like Queer Eye and, all that good stuff. Hope and I went to go see Nosferatu.
Ooh, right. How was that?
That was a trip.
That's what I've
It was
heard.
good. It was very mind-bendy, very like that
Okay.
vampire's in your head, and Like,
Oh.
ooh, but it's like, it's very dense. Like, I can see people making lots of video essays about this movie.
Sure. Sure.
In a good way. In a good way.
Yeah.
Not in like a ragging on it way, in like an analytical way.
Mm-hmm.
Like the storytelling and like the symbolism and
Yeah.
yeah.
Is it too scary for me?
I think you can handle it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you can handle it.
Okay.
Catching up on Critical Role Campaign 3.
I need to do that.
Trying to. That's taken up a lot of my time, my free time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also just been a really good thing to just like sit and watch and turn my brain off after doing school stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's been great. Also, the new season of Solo Leveling is airing right now.
Oh, nice.
It's so good. The animation is so good. It's amazing. It's such a great show. And I also watched Kaiju number 8, which is another anime based on a manga. It's kind of giving modern Attack on Titan.
Oh.
About these like humans that fight kaijus, which are just big monsters. They don't look like titans. They don't look like big people. I mean, there are some like quote unquote humanoid kaiju who like are bipedal and look vaguely human, but they're not like, you know, the big awkward like naked people that Attack on Titan has. They're different. But it's also similar to Attack on Titan for reasons that would become clear if you watch it, and I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
So, it's really good. I loved it.
Is there a tree of
funnier.
life in the alternate universe?
I don't know. It's only one season out.
You just said it would be similar in obvious ways if you went. I just thought I'd pull something out of the later seasons that are
yeah.
Confusing. The tree of life part is confusing to me.
For sure. It's way funnier than Attack on Titan. Like it's
that's not
way more
hard,
comedic.
Because Attack on Titan is not funny at all. It's mostly just
pretty dark.
Yeah.
And the main character is like a 32-year-old man.
Hilarious. Okay.
So relatable. It's like it was made for people in our age range. It
probably was.
very, very funny. And also, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but you talking reminded me of this. I saw Lion King 1.5.
Oh.
I had never seen it before.
You know, I hadn't seen it until like a couple months ago either.
Yeah, so that was fun. It was a fun time. It's probably one of the better Disney sequels direct to DVD.
Yeah.
You know.
The Timon and Pumbaa framing on that one is not as annoying as it is in the
for sure
Mufasa one.
So that's pretty much it with the watching, cutting out the ones that would be repeats.
Also, hold on. Part of what's annoying to me is that Seth Rogen does the voice of Pumbaa.
Oh,
I just okay, carry on.
Reading Poppy War. Yeah. I am caught up on Frieren for the manga now.
Oh.
Man, we're going to some exciting places in the next season. And I'm excited about it.
Nice.
It's going to be crazy. And I've been reading Solo Leveling because there's a new volume out for that I didn't even know about. So I picked that up.
Nice.
I've been reading that. It's pretty much it for reading, though. For playing, Baldur's Gate 3 with mods. That's been fun. And got to play some Magic over Christmas with Blake because he got me some Baldur's Gate 3 themed decks.
He built those decks for you.
Right.
I don't know if you knew that. They were not prefab.
No, I know.
Just built and designed them for you. Okay.
I just said got because you get people things for Christmas. It was just yeah.
That's what I just wanted to, because you can buy commander decks that are like pre-done.
Right.
And this was anyway.
One of them is an Astarian deck and the other one is a Shadowheart deck. So
because he knew they were your characters. Yours and Hope's.
Yes. So that was really fun. And he also, or was it both of you? You both might have gotten this. That Everdell game.
That was from Blake. I mean,
So
we are in a confusing, do we get things for people separately or do we get things for people together phase. We didn't really know what to do.
Hope and I just started getting stuff for people together because it's just too much to keep track of.
So
anyway, we played Everdell a few nights ago with some friends, and that was such a delightfully charming, cute. Like, it's more complicated than I thought it was going to be going into it, but it makes sense as you play. Like, it's not overly difficult, but I could see where there's like so many different ways to win and so many different strategies you could have.
Yeah.
And it's just full of a bunch of cute little woodland creatures, and you're building your little woodland creature city.
Yeah.
And it's super fun. It was super fun. So, yeah. That's the playing stuff.
Nice. Good stuff, man.
So next week, when you're listening to this, next week will be a Poppy War episode. So make sure you get caught up with that. And yeah, I guess until next time, go watch more of the Rohirrim, or play D&D, or both.
Do it. And we'll talk at you later. We'll talk at you next time.
There it is. Later.
Bye.